Hi, this is Ken with Ken's Perfect Jams, and today I want to show you another way that you could feature one of my jams in your cooking. We're going to be making a jam galette today with a hazelnut crust. This one's a really fun one to make. We're going to start with the crust because the crust needs to sit in the fridge for a good 8 to 12 hours before you roll it out and fill it. So I figured I'm going to do it tonight. It'll sit in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow morning we will pick up this video and I will show you the rest of the steps to make this jam galette. So let's start. I have everything laid out in front of me that we're going to need to make this crust today. It's 1 cup of hazelnuts. They could be raw or they could be partially chopped like this. I would have preferred to get raw hazelnuts with the skin on, but these were the only hazelnuts that I could find in the store. So you work with what you can find. I don't need the sugar right now. I need the flour right now. So hazelnuts, flour, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and we're going to pulse this until it comes together and it's nice and fine. You want a powder, so it's a little bit harder to tell with these since the hazelnuts were pieces. So that's why I'm letting it run a little bit longer just to see when it falls back if it's chunks or if it's more flour. If these were whole hazelnuts, it would be a whole lot easier to tell. Okay. We have power. Not power. We have powder. We have powder. So now I will take this flour, hazelnut, salt mixture, and I'm putting it into a bowl for now. Okay, and then we are going to do the next step, which is also in the food processor. It doesn't need to be pristine. You don't need to take it to the sink and wash it out or anything. This will be fine. So now we are going to put 1 stick of butter cut up into 8 pieces. So 8 tablespoons of butter. All of the butter. And the sugar into the food processor. And we're doing the same thing again. We're going to pulse this until it comes together. Think of it as making a cake. You're using the food processor to cream the butter and sugar together. So let me show you what that should look like. It should be nice and creamy and well incorporated. Okay, so at this point, we are going to add in the eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. She liked to pour and let it overflow. I do the same thing. So that's my homage to my grandmother Truella. And now we're going to mix that in until the eggs and the vanilla are beaten and have mixed with the butter and sugar mixture. Yay, just like that. Now It's marriage time. Here we have the butter, sugar, vanilla, and eggs. And we're adding back in the hazelnuts that was blended with the flour and the salt. Now, if you've ever made pie crust in a food processor, this is the same kind of process. We're going to pulse until it comes together and it forms a ball. So if you look at it now, it's starting to clump to one side of the food processor. Let me tilt that for you so you can see it. So at this point, we are pretty much done. At this point, we're going to wrap it up, and it's going to go into the refrigerator for at least 8 to 12 hours. We're going to do it overnight. And tomorrow, we'll pick it up. We'll take it out of the fridge. We'll let it come to room temp. We'll roll it out into a nice round crust. We're going to fill it with some jam. We're going to fold over the edges so that the jam's exposed in the middle with a nice ring of hazelnut crust around it. And we're going to bake it till it's golden brown and delicious. So, good night. See you tomorrow morning. Welcome back to the jam galette with hazelnut crust. It's the next day. This is chilled all night. It's a pretty solid disc. So now I'm going to unwrap the cling wrap. I have 2 pieces of parchment laid out and roughly across. You're going to be working in the middle section. If you do this and you go to the edges, you're going to get the right size for your galette, and then it'll be easy to transfer it onto the cookie sheet. So we're going to take some flour and put it down in the middle of the parchment. Spread it out. And this is what you'll be working on top of. Okay. Galette goes onto the floured parchment paper. A little more flour on top. And then we're going to roll this out into a disc, basically until we hit the 4 edges of the parchment. If you start on this a little early like I did, just use a little muscle. If it's still too resistant, this really should come to room temperature before you do this. Otherwise your dough is just going to break and you're going to have to start all over. So go slow and make sure that your crust has come back to room temperature. You're going for a circle, but you just want a rough circle. If it's not a perfect circle, do not fret. This is supposed to be a rustic tart. A perfectly shaped circle is not the goal here. The goal is to get something that you can work with, that you can put some jam in the middle, and roll up the edges. Okay, I think this is going to be pretty good. So the next thing you want to do is take your jam. I'm using Sarah's jam from our friendship series today, because I'm missing my Sarah, so I figured it would be nice to pay a little homage to her and use her jam in this galette today. So it's very easy. All you want to do is take this and smooth it out in a nice little circle. And you're going to be spreading it pretty thin. Roughly you want to spread it till you have an inch to an inch and a half of dough that doesn't have jam on it. So an inch to an inch and a half border around the jam. Okay, so a galette is a tart that has exposed edges, rough exposed edges. So what we do now is we take egg wash, wet the dough. You want to wet the exposed dough with the egg wash. If you do a little tear like that, like I just did, don't worry about it, because you'll see in a moment why. So a tart with an exposed center with rough edges. And you will achieve that once you do your egg wash all the way around. Use your parchment and you're going to fold if there's a lot of excess flour like this, you can just brush it away, but it's not going to hurt the tart any. And you're basically going to use your parchment to fold the edges of the tart up around the jam, leaving your center exposed. And there you go. That is a galette, sorry. So the easiest way to do this, the reason why you have two pieces of parchment paper, is you're going to take your cookie sheet, you're going to take the parchment that is on and basically just pull it onto the cookie sheet. Fold under your excess parchment. And in the oven it goes, 375 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes. Welcome back. So the jam galette has cooled, and I found that the easiest way to serve this or to cut this is with a pizza or pastry cutter. If you don't have one, a knife and a spatula is fine. But I just found, for me, this is what works the best. And so here we go. And there you go, it comes away nice and clean. See the jam. And once it cools, And the jam resets, as you can see. The jam holds its shape when you cut it. So now it is taste time. Oh, actually, I was just going to be all uncouth and use my fingers, but there's a fork here. So I will be civilized. Hazelnuts are one of my favorite nuts, and they really come through well in this. And the dough, it's so flaky. The crust is so flaky, and the hazelnut, it's really nice. It's light, it's apparent, but it's not overpowering. But the real star is the jam. The jam's awesome. So the three of these, I mean, they go very well together. I'm having another piece. The next time you want something fun and simple, yet really tasty, and something that looks fancy, think about giving this a go. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. If you like this video, please take a moment to subscribe, or to hit thumbs up, that you liked it. And remember, we're here every Wednesday with a new video. Hump Day means another video from Ken's Perfect Jams. Anyway, have a good day. Bye-bye. A copy of this recipe can be found in the description section of the video that you're watching. If you like, download the video. Download a copy of the recipe, and then we can make this galette together.